What's up guys? Welcome back to another video for Good Enough Worship Guitars. Glad you're still here, haven't lost you yet. So today we're going to begin our lesson on the C shapes for acoustic guitar. Now I said that the G shapes were the easiest. The C shapes are not hard. You just have to move your fingers a little bit more, but you'll find it's really not that hard. So again, make sure you've mastered the G shapes before you start these C shapes. Or start on the C shapes and don't move on to the G shapes till you've mastered C. I would recommend G first, but it really doesn't matter because you don't know either of them. So might as well learn one first. So we're gonna go over the C shapes, and like we did with the G shapes, I will later show you how to play in multiple keys with the C shapes with the capo. So let's get into this lesson and then we'll come back and wrap it up. So key of C. The 1 is here, second string on the 3rd fret, one more string down on the 2nd fret, skip a string, and then it's the 2nd string on the 1st fret. You're going to want to make sure your fingers are not like this, but up at an angle so they're not touching the strings below them. So you have to move a little more here than on the G shapes. So these you may want to pause and just kind of get used to each one on the fly. So C, that's a 1. The 2, you're gonna come down on this string. So 1st fret, 1st string, skip a string. On the 2nd fret, you're gonna be on the 3rd string from the bottom, and then you're gonna go down 1. So this one is the 2nd string from the bottom on the 3rd fret, 3rd string from the bottom on the 2nd fret, 1st string on the bottom on the 1st fret. That's a 2. The 3, you're just going to hold these 2 strings, 2nd and 3rd. And what you're going to want to do on this one is basically just play these strings and the one under it. You could play them all, but I find that just playing a few strings is better. So, to recap so far, you've got C, that's 1, 2, you've got 3, which is just these 2 strings, and then how the C was the 2nd string on the 3rd fret, 3rd string down on 2nd fret, and then this. The only difference, you're going to keep this guy here, and you're going to move these down 1 for the 4. So this is a 1, this is a 4. The 5, you're going to put your pinky down, and you're going to play 3rd string on the 3rd fret, 2nd string down on the 2nd fret, and your pinky. You could play it this way, you could play it this way, doesn't really matter. And then the 6, you're keeping your pinky here, or sorry, for the 6, you're keeping your ring finger here like you had before, and you're playing the 2 strings above it on the 2nd fret. So to recap, 1, 4, 6, all don't move this finger. So 1, 4, 6, your finger's the same. So 1, 4, 6. The ones you have to move them on are the 5, the 3, and the 2. Alright guys, well now you've learned the G shapes and the C shapes. And like with the G shapes, I would recommend that you find songs in the key of C and practice them. That way you could build confidence, realize you could learn even more songs now that you can play in the G shapes and the C shapes, and now you can play in multiple keys. You can now cover all the keys between G shapes and C shapes. There are other shapes that you can play that we could go over later, but for now, at least for basics, I've been doing worship for several years, and I only play in these two shapes. There's maybe a handful of times I'll play in E shapes or some alternate voicings of E shapes, but for the most part, 99.5% of the time, I'm in one of these two shapes. And it just goes to show there's a lot of knowledge out there that you can unlock, but it's not necessary to be good at what you do. To just be good enough to play on your team and no one even know that you haven't learned all the extra music theory things. So get some practice in this, and then we'll move on to our videos on capos. And then after that, if you're interested, you can move along to the electric guitar lessons. Thank you again for joining, and catch you on the next one.